Good afternoon. It's time for Stories with Mrs. Ballou, and we're going to read some books about Easter this afternoon. And we're going to start with Jan Brett's book, The Easter Egg. She wrote the words that I'm going to read, and she drew the pictures that you get to look at. She has some nice yellow end papers here. This book is published by G.P. Putnam Sons, Penguin Young Readers Group. The Easter Egg. Always lots to look at in her illustrations. Cheer up, cheer up, spring is here. Time to start on my first ever Easter egg, Hoppy said. Each year, the bunny who decorated the winning egg got to help the Easter rabbit hide the eggs on Easter morning. And there's the robin. He's the one that says, cheer up, cheer up. Hoppy had been dreaming about being that bunny all year long. Now it was time to get started. Everywhere Hoppy looked, rabbits were working on dazzling eggs. I need an amazing idea, he thought. Hoppy spotted Flora Bunny planting spring wildflowers in her eggs. The Easter rabbit will love those colorful flowers, he thought, and started picking flowers for his egg. Here's a basket for your flowers, Hoppy, Flora said. Chop, chop, scrape, scrape, Hoppy spied Buster Birch carving a magnificent wooden egg. I wish I had some wood for my egg, he wished out aloud. Here you go, Hoppy, Buster Birch said, and he put a smooth, round piece of wood in Hoppy's basket. Thank you, Buster, Hoppy said. Hoppy was hopping along when the smell of sweetness led him out of the woods and straight to the chocolate egg that Aunt Sassafras was decorating with creamy frosting, squiggles, and bows. Hello, Hoppy, she said, and she put some chocolate squares in his basket. Hippity hop, Hoppy exclaimed. I'll make the Easter rabbit a chocolate egg so sweet it will make his whiskers tingle. You can see people are working on their eggs in those little pictures on each page. Then Hoppy saw Granny Irene decorating one of her fabulous story eggs. First, she traced a design on her egg with a special tool. Then she dipped the egg in pots of yellow, green, orange, and red dye, adding to the design each time. Hoppy couldn't believe his eyes. I'll never make an egg that beautiful, he told Granny Irene. She smiled. Try, she said, giving him one of her special tools. Very fancy egg. Hoppy was hopping by Hans van der Rabbit's garden when he spotted an extraordinary egg. Hans was painting a portrait of the Easter rabbit, so real he looked alive. Fantastic, Hoppy exclaimed. Thank you, Hoppy, Hans said. Why don't you make a painting on your egg? He gave Hoppy pots of paint and a fine brush. As Hoppy bounced along, a loud boing nearly knocked him off his feet. It was a whirling, twirling, mechanical egg. Whoa, Hoppy said. That's an unusual egg. Would you like to make one? Roberta asked. Hoppy tried hard, but the harder he tried, the more parts and pieces piled up around him. Thank you, Roberto, he sighed, but I think I better make an egg that is right for me. Hoppy hopped back to the woods and lay down under a tall tree to think. Making a beautiful egg is harder than I imagined, he thought. I guess I don't have to win. I just want to make an egg I am proud of. Suddenly the woods rang with the squawking of birds sounding an alarm. Mother Robin swooped down, calling wildly as if she couldn't decide where to go. An egg had tumbled out of Mother Robin's nest. Inside the perfect blue egg was a baby robin that needed its mother to keep it warm until it hatched. Hoppy knew what he had to do. He sat down carefully and covered the blue egg with his soft, warm fur. I'll take care of you the best I can, he whispered. Relieved, Mother Robin chirped and settled down on her other 2 eggs. So he's going to keep the robin egg nice and warm. Hoppy never left the robin's egg. If it was sunny and warm, he carefully turned the egg in its nest of moss. If it was rainy and cold, he kept the egg covered and dry. At night, wild animals passed by. Hoppy crouched down and stayed hidden in the ferns. Often he heard strange noises coming from above, but Hoppy didn't run away. He's taking good care of that egg. And you can see in the top, Mother Robin. Every day, the rabbits worked on their eggs. Tadpoles turned into frogs, buds swelled into leaves, and Easter came closer and closer. Finally, it was time for the rabbits to take their eggs to the glen. They had all forgotten about Hoppy, who was quietly sitting on the blue egg under the tall tree in the woods. He didn't have time to make his egg. Early the next morning, the rabbits waited for the Easter rabbit. Suddenly, a beautiful wagon rolled toward them out of the mist. Here comes the Easter bunny, Easter rabbit. They're all waiting. And stopped. The Easter bunny stepped down from the wagon and admired the decorated eggs one by one. You have brought me the most beautiful eggs in the world, but a very special one is not here, he told them. The rabbits were puzzled. Whose egg could it be? See, and Santa Claus has reindeer. The Easter bunny has chickens pulling his wagon. What egg do you think he's talking about? Fill my wagon with your wonderful eggs, he said. When I return, I will show it to you. Oh, look at all those beautiful eggs. And he disappeared into the woods. He came back with Hoppy, looking scruffy and bedraggled. Hoppy has an amazing egg to be proud of, the Easter rabbit told them. He has kept Mother Robin's egg warm and safe until her baby bird hatched and she could take care of it. The Easter rabbit placed the empty blue shell in the place of honor atop the wagon. Now they were ready to go. The rabbits cheered for the egg that had surprised them all. It's our best Easter ever, Hoppy, they shouted. Then the brave little bunny and the Easter rabbit rode off together to hide the eggs for girls and boys to find on Easter morning. So he was rewarded for the good deed that he did, taking care of Mother Robin's baby egg. Now, time for a song, a silly song. There was an old lady who swallowed a chick, by Lucille Calandro, and pictures by Jared Lee, and published by Scholastic. This old lady loves to swallow all kinds of crazy things. There was an old lady who swallowed a chick. I don't know why she swallowed a chick, but she didn't get sick. There was an old lady who swallowed some straw. The chick looked in awe as she swallowed the straw. She swallowed the straw to cover the chick. I don't know why she swallowed the chick, but she didn't get sick. There was an old lady who swallowed an egg. She didn't beg to swallow that egg. She swallowed the egg to jazz up the straw. She swallowed the straw to cover the chick. I don't know why she swallowed that chick, but she didn't get sick. There was an old lady who swallowed some candy. She knew the candy would come in handy. She swallowed the candy to sweeten the egg. She swallowed the egg to jazz up the straw. She swallowed the straw to cover the chick. I don't know why she swallowed that chick, but she didn't get sick. Oops, I missed a page. There was an old lady who swallowed a basket, a tisket, a tasket, a brightly colored basket. She swallowed the basket to carry the candy. She swallowed the candy to sweeten the egg. She swallowed the egg to jazz up the straw. She swallowed the straw to cover the chick. I don't know why she swallowed that chick, but she didn't get sick. There was an old lady who swallowed a bow. Oh, what a show when she swallowed that bow. She swallowed the bow to tie on the basket. She swallowed the basket to carry the candy. She swallowed the candy to sweeten the egg. Swallowed the egg to jazz up the straw. She swallowed the straw to cover the chick. I don't know why she swallowed that chick, but she didn't get sick. There was an old lady who started to hop. She jumped up and down and just wouldn't stop. As she skipped down the trail on a day that was sunny, guess who she met? Oops! The Easter Bunny. Happy Easter to you. He says, thanks. Out came a whole basket of goodies. Silly old lady likes to swallow the strangest stuff. Candy you could swallow. An egg, if it's chocolate or real egg, you could swallow, but not straw or a bowl or a basket. Don't let anybody everybody try. Lots of yummy Easter candy coming. That's what you swallow. The Easter Cub by Justin Corman Fontes. Pictures by Lucinda McQueen, excuse me. And this is a Hello Reader book, level 2. It's the kind of book you can read for yourself when you start to read. And this book is published by Penworthy. Once there was a curious cub named Pip. Everything was new to him. One morning, Pip felt the snow melt under his paws. Why is it so soft and wet? Pip wondered. It's spring! It's spring! The birds chirped. Pip was surprised. The birds had been quiet for so long. Why were they suddenly chirping again? And what was spring? He wanted to know. Pip heard a stream splashing. The stream had been frozen solid and was silent all winter. Now the stream babbled. It's spring! It's spring! Pip wondered, what is spring? Suddenly a flock of geese filled the sky over Pip's head. It's spring! It's spring! The geese honked. Pip exclaimed, I must find out what spring is. So he decided to visit his friend Evergreen. The wise tree had lived for many years near a cozy cabin. Evergreen knew all kinds of things. She had told Pip all about winter and Christmas. Evergreen was sure to know about spring, too. And she did. Evergreen told Pip all about spring. Oh, the sun melts the snow and flowers and birds come and bees. From then on, Pip looked for new signs of spring every day. Suddenly, the trees weren't bare anymore. Pip saw tight little green buds on the branches. Then he saw purple petals pushing through the soft snow. He ran to tell Evergreen the exciting news. Evergreen laughed. You found crocuses, but you haven't seen anything yet. The purple ones are just some of the first flowers in spring. Spring gets even better. Evergreen was right. In the warm days that followed, Pip found more and more flowers. Every kind was pretty in its own special way. Daffodils, tulips, pansies. Now I know all about spring, Pip told Evergreen, and it's wonderful. But the tree shook her branches. Spring gets even better. And it was true. Soon Pip was surprised by even more signs of spring. The tight green buds opened into fresh new leaves. Bright green grass pushed its way through the soft ground. Grasshoppers hopped, clover bloomed, and bees flew by, buzzing. It's spring! It's spring! Now I really know all about spring, Pip told Evergreen, but the tree chuckled. Wait, spring gets even better. One day, Pip peeked in the windows of the cozy cabin. The people were painting colors on eggs. Why are they doing that? Pip asked Evergreen. Because tomorrow is Easter, the wise tree said. Pip asked, what is Easter? Easter is a holiday that celebrates all new things that spring brings, Evergreen explained. Then she told Pip about the Easter Bunny and how the bunny hides treats for children. That sounds like fun, Pip cried. I wish I were the Easter Bunny. I wish I had treats to hide and give. Evergreen sighed. You should be happy being what you are. A cute and curious cub is quite special enough. Pip still wished he could do things like the Easter Bunny. You wish you could? But the next morning was such a beautiful Easter morning that Pip felt very happy, even if he was just a bear. His mother kissed him and said, Good morning, I love you. Pip kissed her back and said, Happy Easter, I love you too. Right then, Pip knew that he did have something to give, his love. So on the way to visit Evergreen, Pip stopped to kiss everything he loved and to wish them all a happy Easter. He kissed the daffodils, and they tickled his nose. He kissed the clover, and it tickled his toes. He kissed the pussy willows and the new green leaves. Pip was having a great time, but he had the funny feeling he was being watched. Do you see who's watching him? Easter Bunny. Pip turned around quickly, and he saw the Easter Bunny. I've been watching you spread Easter joy, the bunny said. You're doing a good job for a bear. Would you like to hide some treats for the children who live in the cabin? The Easter Bunny asked. Oh, yes, Pip squeaked. Thanks. Pip had a great time hiding treats. He hid under the evergreen and by the rocks over here. Oh my goodness. That would be fun to hide treats, wouldn't it? He had even more fun watching the children look for the treats. Pip hid behind Evergreen's branches and listened to the children's squeals of joy. He felt all warm and giggly. Pip whispered to Evergreen, "Does spring get any better than this?" Evergreen shook her shiny needles. "No," she said, sighing. "This is spring at its best." Pip sighed too. Then he kissed his green friend and said, "I love you, Evergreen. Happy Easter." The Easter Cub. We have one more book this afternoon. It's one that's been around for a while. It's Cranberry Easter by Wendy and Harry Devlin. They worked on this book together. We have an Easter bunny hopping along. This was published by Four Winds Press out of New York. Cranberry Easter. "Look, spring is here." Mr. Whiskers stood at the door of Seth's general store with a mass of pussy willows in his arms. "I've come to plan your Easter egg hunt, Seth," he said. "You dye the eggs this year, and I'll play the Easter bunny." Seth frowned. No Easter egg hunt this year. I'm going to sell the store and head south. I'll be gone by Easter time." "Sell the store?" Mr. Whiskers could not believe his ears. "Suffering codfish, Seth. Who's going to sell me nightshirts and long underwear? Who am I going to beat at checkers on Saturday nights?" "It won't be me." Seth shook his head. "Nobody really needs me. Nobody cares. I'm all alone in this big place. I'm ready to say goodbye to Cranberry Port." Oh my goodness. He doesn't sound happy at all, does he? This has been a long, lonely winter for Seth. His wife had died in late summer, and he missed the sound of a voice at night. Mr. Whiskers wished he could cheer him, but he couldn't think of a thing to say. "And I'm tired of all the gray skies," said Seth. He waved goodbye to Mr. Whiskers, banged the door shut, and went off to take a nap in the back of the store. Mr. Whiskers stopped at Grandmother's and Maggie's house to share his news. "I'm upset too," said Grandmother, bustling about making hot chocolate. "My friends, Nan and Grandma Gates, have both decided they can't last another snowbound winter alone on their farms. They need rooms in town, but there are none to be found." "I have an idea, Grandmother," Maggie cried. "The rooms over Seth's general store used to be a hotel. Wouldn't they be just right for your friends?" Mr. Whiskers looked at Maggie in wonder. "You've got it, Maggie," he boomed. "They are filled with old furniture. We'll get Seth to clear them out." Grandmother gave Maggie a delighted smile. "I'll start with some calls," she said, and hurried down the hall to the phone. Overjoyed, Mr. Whiskers hastened back to Seth's general store, but Seth turned his back on the whole idea. "Never," he grumbled. "I'm much too tired to clean up all those rooms." Mr. Whiskers wouldn't give up. "Suffering codfish, Seth. Those old folks are all alone. Somebody's got to help. They need you." He paced back and forth. "Well," said Seth, "it's a jumble upstairs, but maybe we can take a look." From then on, Mr. Whiskers took charge. Did we skip a page? Nope. Okay. Took charge. After the sale of extra chairs and tables, there was enough money for paint and brushes. Even the mayor and the sheriff joined in, scrubbing, painting, and polishing. Maggie and her friends cleaned windows, and Grandmother sewed curtains. The rooms, bright and clean, were a joyous surprise when Mr. Whiskers, Maggie, and Grandmother showed them to the new residents. Grandma Gates was especially pleased. "I'll never have to go out in a storm for groceries again," she said with great cheer. Nan looked out the window on the town square. "Oh, Seth, we can watch the Easter egg hunt from here," she said. Seth threw up his hands. "You win," he told Mr. Whiskers. "I guess I'll have to stay in Cranberry Port a little longer. Maggie, tell the children at school the Easter egg hunt is on for sure." The trees began to bud, and soon there was a magical green mist all over the land. At the general store, Seth found himself listening now and then for the bustling sounds from overhead. On Easter Eve, Grandma Gates helped Seth dye the eggs. Easter dawned with a brilliant sun in Cranberry Port. Early in the day, Seth and Mr. Whiskers began to hide eggs of every hue, orange, yellow, violet, behind bushes and trees and under rocks in the village green. Seth felt a small stir of happiness at being part of this Easter celebration. "Look at the blue skies today," he said thoughtfully to Mr. Whiskers. At noon, a crowd of happy, noisy children began to gather in the center of the village. Mr. Whiskers rounded them up and readied them for the hunt. He called, 1, 2, 3, go! The Easter egg hunt was on. Children darted among rocks and bushes in search of eggs. They knew that one prize, a large chocolate egg wrapped in gold, awaited the child who found the most. When nearly all the eggs had just been discovered, Seth searched out Mr. Whiskers and whispered a message in his ear. Mr. Whiskers' eyes rolled. He groaned. You promised, said Seth as he steered his friend toward the store. A few moments later, a big, fat Easter bunny hopped across the square. The shouting children swarmed all around him. What is it? Asked the small boys, pulling on the bunny's tail. Suffering codfish, I'm the Easter bunny, Mr. Whiskers shouted. Can't you see? Over his head, he held a giant basket with chocolate eggs wrapped in foil. Today there are prizes for everyone, Seth announced. The children cheered. Even the youngest was given a great golden prize to take home. This was the best Easter egg hunt ever, one of the children shouted to Seth as they waved goodbye. Seth beamed. See you next year, he called. Next year? Did you hear that? Mr. Whiskers wheeled around and grinned at Grandmother. Seth is here to stay. Started to hop back to dress for Grandmother's dinner, but then he stopped. Maggie was telling Seth what they would be having for their Easter feast. There'll be roast lamb, new potatoes, mint jelly, and cranberry cobbler, she said. Hooray, shouted Mr. Whiskers. Oh, that's just for us, said Grandmother, winking at Seth. For you, there is a bunch of carrots back at the rabbit hutch. Mr. Whiskers began to smile. You couldn't fool him. There would always be a place at Grandmother's table for him on holidays, and a place for Seth, too. He knew friends always take care of one another. That's the way it is in Cranberryport, on holidays and the whole year round. Like you take care of friends in New Boston. And at the end of this book, there's a recipe for cranberry cobbler. It says to ask mother or father to help, and it gives you all the ingredients that you need and tells you how to put it together. So if you borrow this book, you could try the recipe. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your afternoon. It's a little bit chillier today, so make sure you stay warm. I'll be reading on Wednesday, continuing to read about stink and the world's worst super stinky sneakers. We'll be starting chapter 4, 5, and 6 on Wednesday, and then there'll be more Easter stories on Friday. Bye. Miss you.